Okay, so here for the third scenario here, we're going to use the graphs. So once again, we're going to go ahead and use A and C. So typically they will not provide these ordered pairs for you, but they were nice enough to point them out. So if we take a look at them closely, this bottom one right here, that ordered pair is at 0, -2. And this ordered pair right here, it's 1, 2, and 2 up. So that ordered pair is at 2, 2. All right. So when you have a graph, normally they will not point out the points or the order pairs that you're going to use. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and use those two. So as long as they're in that line right there, you can use them. So we're going to use 2, 2 and 0, 2. So those are the ordered pairs that we're going to use for A. We're going to use 2, 2 and 0, -2. So once again, this is pretty much tying up to the part 2, what we just did right now. So the only difference now is that you have to identify the ordered pairs. So we already did. So the very first part is once again to solve for the slope. So remember, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to get plenty of practice with this. And once again, when you're solving for the slope, it's always preferable for you to go write down that formula so you get comfortable with it. So we substitute the values in there. Y to the second is -2 minus y to the first, which is +2. X to the second, which is 0, minus x to the first, which is 2. So we calculate that. We end up with -4 over -2. So -4 divided by -2 is +2. So that is our slope right there. Our slope is +2. So the second step is to solve for B. Our slope, once again, is 2. And you choose one of these two ordered pairs. It doesn't really matter. So let's go with a 0, 2, 0, -2. And remember, this is going to be your x and this is going to be your y. So substitute it into the ymx plus b format to solve for b. The y is -2. Our slope is 2. Our x is 0 plus b. So we got -2. 2 times 0, remember, is 0 plus b. Well, we can't transfer 0 to the other side. So 0 plus b, remember, is just simply b. So our y-intercept is -2. Third step, we already got a slope of 2. And we got a y-intercept of -2. Once again, substitute the slope and the y-intercept there. So this will be 2x. The y-intercept is -2. And that's our equation right there. Y equals 2x minus 2. So nothing new here except that now you're going to have to identify the ordered pairs that you're working with. All of these 3 steps are the same thing that we did for part 2. Let's try one more. So we take a look at C right there. You'll notice that this is a special one. This is one of those horizontal vertical ones. This one is going through that straight line right there. So something's going to happen to the slope that's a little bit different from our previous one. So we take a look at the first order pair right there. This is at -2 and 5. So this point is at -2 and 5. Now we go ahead and take a look at this one. This ordered pair right there is at 0 and 5. You're going to notice that your y values are the same. Well, that is going to affect your slope some way, some shape, some form. Now keep in mind that the slope for this one is going to be way different from the one that is going vertical like this. So let's see what happens here. All right, so we got our order pairs. We got -2 and 5. We got 0 and 5. So those are your two ordered pairs right there for C. Once again, you don't necessarily have to choose those, but they were nice enough to point them out. So the first step, as what we did before, is to solve for M. So once again, we're going to use our slope formula. And remember, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is 5 minus y1, which is also 5, x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is -2. So you're going to notice one thing right here. The top part, 5 minus 5, will be 0. Here, the double negatives becomes a positive, so 0 plus 2. So you're going to end up with 0 over 2. And when you have something like this, 0 over 2, that is just simply 0. And yes, you could have a slope of 0 there. So we're going to need that. So remember, our second step right there is to solve for the y-intercept, solve for B. So we got a slope of 0, and we got to use one of these two ordered pairs. It doesn't matter which one you want to choose. Let's go with 0 and 5 to make it a little bit easier on us. So remember, this is your x, this is your y, and we're going to substitute into this ymx plus b so we could solve for the y-intercept. So we substitute the 5 in there for at y, substitute the 0 in there for the slope, but the x is also 0. So this is going to be very easy to calculate now. 0 times 0 is just simply 0. So we can't move the 0 over the 0 plus b, excuse me, will just simply be 5. So your y-intercept is 5. So we got a slope of 0, and we got a y-intercept of 5. And you'll see that the equation is going to make sense once we put it in there. Alright, so once again, let's put it into the ymx plus b format. Well, the slope is 0. So 0 times x plus 5. So remember, 0 times x is just going to be 0 plus 5, y equals 5. And that's your equation for that. All right. So once again, this is one of those single variable ones, remember? This is one of those equations right there. This is the line passes through y equals what? 5. So in other words, this thing does not have a slope. It has a 0 slope, all right? And you're practically going to do the same thing with the other two graphs. So just choose two ordered pairs from there, and that's it. For this section, you don't have to worry about part 4. If you take college algebra, you'll end up doing these two right there when it's parallel, where it's perpendicular. All right, so this concludes section 7.4.